The Credit Show podcast with Harry Jacobs starts now.
I'm not sure where you're hearing the show or the podcast, but here in Vegas, we have these title loan companies and payday loan companies. They're on every corner here. Now, in Vegas, by the way, and in Nevada, there's no usury, meaning the cap on interest rates. But these companies are all over the country. We know that. The title loan companies, there's certainly caps on what they can do in terms of loaning money and interest rates and all that. But when you have one of those versus a payday loan, you're putting a title up. So you're saying, listen, I own my car, my motorcycle, whatever it is, free and clear, but I need to borrow some money. And if you don't get that money paid back, they're entitled to go and take your vehicle. Take whatever it is you put up for collateral. Well, Titlemax, they've been in trouble over the years at different times. They have an issue with the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau back in the spring, maybe over the winter, I think in January or February it came out, where they got themselves in trouble for violating the Military Lending Act. And by the way, that act, for good reason, contains a number of protections for active duty service members and their spouses, their kids, other dependents. They're what they call covered borrowers. Now, included in these protections, that Military Lending Act prohibits non-bank creditors from using vehicle titles to secure loans to borrowers. And what happened is the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau found out that Titlemax was violating the Military Lending Act by extending thousands of title loans to people that were what they call covered borrowers, extending loans that exceeded the Military Lending Act's 36% annual percentage rate, which is crazy, by the way. That's the cap there, 36%. Failing to make disclosures that are required under the Military Lending Act, extending loans to covered borrowers with prohibited arbitration clauses, meaning, they're locked in, and if they want to fight it, if there's a problem, they can't do that, right? They've signed a contract waiving their rights, and then extending loans to covered borrowers with onerous notice requirements, the fine print. Consumer Financial Protection Bureau also found that Titlemax engaged in unfair acts or practices in violation of the Consumer Financial Protection Act of 2010. They were foisting, if you will, an insurance product that provided no coverage on about 15,000 of their loans. So Titlemax understated the finance charges and the annual percentage rates of the loans and violated TILA, which is the Truth in Lending Act, and this Consumer Financial Protection Act. So they were ordered to stop and pay about $5 million in consumer redress. That's the fancy name for a refund. It's called redress. And they had to pay a small penalty, $10,000 or whatever, but $5 million back to consumers and military families that need it. Be careful of those title loans. And if you know someone that's in the military and has one of those Titlemax loans, you may want to alert them to this if they're not already aware of it.
You've been listening to the Credit Show podcast with Harry Jacobs. If you need assistance with your credit, text CREDIT to 702-778-2000.